Serpent, and today we're playing Settlers New Allies. It just came out today. I've been looking forward to this for a while. I had access to the beta a while back and did have a couple videos, but unfortunately the quality of said videos were pretty low. They were some of the first videos I ever did, so I deleted them, for better or for worse. So instead we're gonna hop right into the release, and I'm gonna start with the tutorial. That way if anyone's new to the game and wants to purchase it later, you can kind of get a feel for how the game works. And I'll be doing more videos this week with the campaign and skirmish as well. So if you are not interested in a tutorial, feel free to skip this video and go on to the next ones. So let's go for the whole gamut. We'll start with the basics. Interestingly enough, during the beta, they asked for quite a bit of feedback, and supposedly they made a lot of changes based on that feedback. So I'm not sure what the state of the game is right now compared to when I last played it. I know that's what a beta is for, but this game has gone through several large redesigns since they announced it. Okay, so standard movement, rotation, and zooming in and out. Find a forest. There we go. Settlers cut down these trees. Cool. Find a regrowing forest. That's kind of cool. There we go. Oh, I guess they showed us on the mini map. Okay, cool. Find a stone deposit. Maybe I should have skipped the tutorial. Find a mining area. This is like Blue's Clues right now. Find a hunting grounds with deer. I think the hunting grounds is actually a new thing they've added into the game since I last played it. So they're also telling you, what you can use to harvest those resources. Berry bushes. Oh my gosh. They're like, hey, you're gonna know what all of these things are. I suppose if you don't know how to play the game, that's good, but man. Don't get me wrong. When I played the beta, there were a few complaints from people who played Settlers before based on what their expectations were versus the gameplay in terms of style. I still enjoyed it. So, if you've I'm not sure how it stacks up to other Settlers games. I've never played other Settlers games, but this one I really liked the visuals and kind of the theme of it, so I was very curious, and I've been looking forward to this, like I said, for a long time. So, logging camp. It is one thing I really do like about the game, and I'm pretty sure this carries over from the beta, is every single thing is animated. And what I mean by that is anytime you build something, harvest something, construct something, I mean, building constructs synonyms, but whatever. Each individual unit of that resource will be shown in game. So they will carry the wood to the location. If you're using a tool, they will build that tool and carry it back to storage. And I don't know, I really like that level of attention. And this was one of my favorite things about it was it makes it very vibrant. It's very cool to watch. So I like the level of detail in this game, because very few games do that, they just kind of bypass a lot of these smaller things, like the unit, the resources just magically appear. No, in this game, you actually have to carry it from point A to point B. Final step, connect it with a warehouse. Cool. If we go to dirt road, there we go. Oh, we have to go to the front of the building. It's okay. Okay, so auto construct lets them build everything. Eh, Let's see, where is the auto construct? There we go. So if you right click on that first option under the engineers, they will auto construct everything. And here it's telling us it doesn't have a road. These little things right here, if anyone is wondering, it's basically the limits of your territory or the boundaries. So it means that this little plot in the middle is unclaimed. This is our border. In the past, you could get, I want to say it was engineers to expand it, but I think that might have been changed a little bit. But basically, anytime you see a shift with these, it's a shift in your borders. That's what that signifies. Cool. A fun little fact is like in the main menu, you can actually customize the appearance of those depending on if you bought the deluxe version or not. And there's unlockable things in game that allow you to, change it to different little things like anchors and stuff, which is kind of cool. And then, here's the next tutorial. It is a tutorial. I mean, I'm not gonna place a lot of expectations on it. And like I said, maybe I should have skipped it, but this is good if you've never played the game because it'll give you a basic idea of okay, what are these things? What's the basic mechanics? And like I said, if this is something you want to watch, feel free to. But if the tutorial is not interesting to you, I'd say just skip it. The other videos will be more interesting. There are a few games though that managed to pull off cool tutorials. So we got warehouse, stored goods, flow of goods. Well, that one's new, flow of goods. Okay, so what's missing? Select the warehouse, see what goods are stored here. Cool. Not in a stone or lumber. Let's create some production chains. Okay, so we place a sawmill close to the logging camp so we can get these cool little deals. Placement is actually important in this game in terms of how you want your roads to align because, like I said, each resource unit is carried. So if you have these really close together, it's beneficial. Speaking of which, I should probably have combined those roads, but oh well. There we go. Now we can do a little cool loop. And speaking of loops, we have a bunch of engineers. Let's set them on auto build. Now I'm a little curious. Claim territory. So I want to show this off just for fun. We can claim this territory. And what they'll do is it'll send those two guys up here and they'll start to push this border back. So if you want, you can't build in territory you haven't claimed. So your territory is important for giving you building space as well as, being able to claim resources. You can't build in other people's territory. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. And there might even be a limit on how many you can assign to one project because let's see. Cool. Lumber in production, get some stone. Quarries gather stone. Stone mines gather stone from unlimited underground veins. That one might be new. I don't remember stone mines. I remember the quarries though. Find a stone deposit. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so stone deposit right here. And it's a perfect spot for a quarry, but to work it efficiently must be placed close to the deposit. Unfortunately, a tower is blocking the place. Demolish the tower. So here we can use the cool demolish button. By the way, this kind of cool visual effect on the towers. I don't remember if you pre-ordered the game or not, or how else you can unlock it, but I think it was for pre-order, so that's what that is. So click, click. There we go. Building a placement. There we go. And because we have them on auto build, and here we can see them pushing that border back. Now for me, this is a pretty chill game, so I really like it, or at least I liked it in the beta. And it sounds like they added quite a few features since the beta, which I'm looking forward to. Like before, if you cut down a forest, there really wasn't a way to. I don't remember if the forest regrew or not, but now you can actually have like a unit repopulate said forests, which is kind of cool. It's like an arborealist. I really like the visuals in this game too. Like, it's a very, very pretty game. Congratulations. You now have the goods to start growing your settlement. Cool. Cool beans. In some ways, the UI reminds me vaguely of Anno, or maybe it's a Ubisoft touch, but I like it. Seeing game engineers. I don't know if there's a reward for completing a tutorial or not. A lot of games will try to force you to do the tutorial by having like some kind of reward that you can only get for doing it. I'm not sure if this is one of them. So far, there's been nothing. So tutorial engineers. Engineers are very important. Construct new buildings, claim new land, survey for underground veins. See, the underground vein thing is new. In the past, what you would have to do is you'd have to send them out to survey areas to find resources. So you'd have an idea, hey, the quarry's probably here. But it could be like iron or stone, and then you'd have to send the engineers out to um, basically discover what kind of vein was in that spot. So here, it's stone. But the positions of those veins were fixed in the map. So like if you played a new map, you didn't know if it was iron or stone, you sent an engineer, it would be the same outcome every time. So you could actually just memorize where those resources were. Recruit a new engineer. Toolmaker. Toolmaker produces tools, and engineers need tools. And in the beta, food was basically like this booster thing. So different buildings you could boost with food. So here, if we had berries, we could boost its production. Check out the guild hall. So here we can train carriers. Carriers are basically your standard villagers, and they can either become an engineer or adventurer. And here we have the resource requirements for each. The engineer requires a tool, and tools have their own production chain. No stone and wood. Some reason I thought they needed iron, but I think maybe iron comes into play later in the game, or maybe you don't need it at all. I don't remember, because I think there's iron and gold, but we'll find out. So here we see them delivering the tool, and then I think now he's training. So like I said, everything, each unit has to go somewhere. That includes the villagers too. Some important goods can only be found within the support of engineers. Search the mining area. Okay, cool. least they're telling us where they want to look. So, okay, here we go. Iron, coal, stone, gold, and gems. So, like I said before in the beta, these things did not move around. So you would not know initially, unless you would play the map, what was there. But after you discover it, you know it's there, and you can just send them there to just rediscover it in a new map, or the same map. And for those just joining, this is just the tutorial. I am going to play more interesting modes like the skirmish mode and the campaign later on today. And here it's nice that we can see if there's any idle carriers. And actually, let's see. So here's our population. And if I remember right, for population, this actually grows over time to until it reaches the maximum population. So you have to build up a little bit in advance until iron is found. Here we have a bunch of engineers. It's actually cool. This is a new little feature, so I can select all of the idle engineers and have them come here and survey this area. They've also made some additional adjustments since the beta, and there's more unit diversity. So, like, the villagers aren't like all one type of unit, which I think is pretty neat. So, like, there's different a couple new character models for just the basic villagers. There's also different factions. So, like this one, let's see, is the Maru. There's two other, the Elari, and the Jorn, I think. Claim the land. Okay, cool. So let's see, do we have any, let's build a couple more engineers. And we will take all of the idle engineers and send them to explore. It's cool too that they show the hotkey right there, saves you a little time. Wonder if there's a hotkey for this. There probably is. And obviously, the more engineers you have on a task, the faster it goes. It's interesting that they locked us out of building anything else but what they want us to be doing for the tutorial. Generally, what I found in the beta was if you want them to move in a specific direction, like if you want this land to this exploration to move in a specific direction, it's better to go really far out towards that, and that way they build more in a line heading in that direction. Otherwise, they kind of just build out from a certain area in a circular manner. But if we do this, for example, that'll send more of these guys to this area, and they'll start tunneling that way, for example. And in this case, maybe they're asking me, let's see, to claim. Oh, I see. They want me to claim this. I really wasn't paying that close attention, which is sad because it's not like there's a lot going on in the tutorial, but good instructional moment. So if they want us to claim the mines, I didn't realize it was unclaimed. Should have looked a little closer at the mini map, but it is what it is. And I can make it go even faster with these cool dudes. Interestingly enough, roads actually will speed up your units if they're walking along a road. So later on in the game, you can upgrade the roads to stone roads from dirt roads. And it actually does make quite a bit of difference in travel time. You can see they try to use the quickest route or the most direct route, so you can plan your roads accordingly. If they are carrying resources, they try to use the roads. Iron can only be collected by building. So here they're asking us to place quarry on the iron vein. So we got an iron mine. And there we go. And it also shows how the quality of the mine in that kind of little center tooltip. And then we make a road connecting the mine to our warehouse. If all your warehouses burn down in a game, you lose. That was at least the promise in the beta. It had a very PvP, maybe it didn't have to be PvP, kind of a RTS element to it. So the goal would be to destroy the other factions' warehouses. I'm guessing that's still true, but like I said, this game has gone through several iterations, and I'm not sure what the current state is. And we're figuring it out as we speak. Send your engineers to construct the iron mine. And here, we probably should have... Here, let's get a bunch of these guys. They actually are on auto build, but we'll assign them to that project specifically. It's kind of cool. It shows how many people are working on it at once. So there's like, in this case, only 3. The max is 3 units. And it shows how many workers will work at once it's being completed. So here we have the max number of engineers that can work on a project. And then once that's done, how many people actually man the iron mine. This dude's still exploring. I kind of want you to do that. I don't know what... Oh, I see. Okay. Construction's done. I'm not sure. I was waiting for the road. Each island has hidden locations where you can collect rewards. Engineers are able to deliver goods to these locations to collect rewards, find a landmark. So how this works is there's different landmarks on the map, like this, for example, but they're usually a lot cooler looking. Like they're really large locations in some cases. What you can do is you can basically, once you find it, if you deposit resources, like it'll have like a little resource requirement, like 3 tools, 3 pieces of stone, and it will give you a reward once you deposit those resources into it. And usually at least in the beta, the rewards had like a time cooldown, so you could actually repeat the you could think of it as a resource quest. So let's see. And here we have a deliver option. And evidently it only takes 1 engineer and you just have to deliver some gold there. So this one's an easy one. And just for fun, if we want, we can claim this and build a road directly up to it. Sometimes if these things are valuable enough that you'll want it in your territory, you might want some towers around it and a direct roadway, so that way it speeds up delivery time and you can repeat it and you deny it from your opponent. Speaking of which, let's do that now. Maybe speed up that travel time a bit. There we go. And want all of you guys on that. Make sure I don't actually... Okay, good. I don't know which unit's carrying the resources, so... Maybe it's this little dude. And maybe I didn't click correctly. Looks like I deselected him on accident, but there we go. He'll do his little thing. We'll go to the warehouse, pick up the gold, come back, and since we made this cool little road, should hopefully lower that travel time. We'll take these guys just for kicks. We'll expand our territory while we're waiting. And let's see what the reward is. Looks like it's coal. So yeah. And then they'll come up and pick up that coal. There we go.
Victory is ours.
Logistics, and then I think there's one more tutorial after this, and then we're finished with the tutorial. Maybe there's two. We'll find out. Logistics. This is probably going to show you I've been talking about the whole time. Stone Road Pole Cart. Oh, yeah. So if you actually make carts, it allows your units to carry more, and then donkey carts allow them to carry even more. So it's actually cool. It speeds up how fast resources can travel between locations. So finish the road between the two warehouses. Generally speaking, you'll want a warehouse close to any of these kind of, let's call them resource areas, where you have, like, here we have like our quarry, we have like some hunting grounds here, another quarry, and a forest, and several other things. You'll want to build a warehouse at each location you have these. That way, here, yes. That way you can basically have your goods travel between your locations. And so, like, let's say we have like a sawmill here, but there's no woods, and there is right here. They will actually carry the wood all the way down to the sawmill. So it's actually important to keep your production chains close and tightly knit, but you will need those warehouses linked. And here, because it's a stone road, they actually have to use resources. So here we have the carriers delivering the stone for the engineers to build off of. And like I said, I really like that feature in the game. Okay, pull carts. Oh, it actually improves their ability to walk faster. Didn't know that. Allocate stone to the second warehouse and wait for... Okay. Usually it does this automatically. But I guess this is a way to manually set it. So if you want a particular location to have a minimum amount of resources and you don't have to wait for them to pull all the resources to that location, you won't have to wait. So here's what I was talking about. And it's actually cool because you can see how much each cart carries. So each cart carries about, I want to say 3 or 4. So it looks like 3 in this case. And I think the donkey carts actually carry 8. But that's one thing I really like, is you can see each individual unit of a resource for any construction project. Yep, 3 goods at a time. That's a lot more than 20. Full carts are a great asset. Carrier enlisted the help of donkey. Prove it even more. So you can get donkeys from ranches, but they need some wheat. Okay, so let's recruit a little donkey cart. So here we have our wheat production. It's a little wheat farm. And we want to change it to donkeys. And here we have a coachmaker. And so we'll queue it up. As soon as we get a donkey from the ranch, it'll go over to here. and this requires wheat. So this is a little bit of a change up. It didn't require wheat before. Wheat would be just like a production booster, but now it's a requirement um, for production, which I think is a nice adjustment. Road is also prepared. Donkey carts order some coal and a second warehouse and watch them bring it over. Okay, so set it to 20. I'll do 21, doesn't hurt. Okay. And let's see, maybe we'll recruit another one to speed it up. Oh, that's cool. It looks like they come in teams. So like one order of donkeys, I guess, gets you free. That's pretty cool. And here you can see the resources are stacked, so the total's 8. So 4 by 4. Pretty neat. And then they have like a little idle animation too. So here we can see how many idle carriers there are. So if a building actually does require a certain number of villagers, engineers count towards that population total. And then carriers are basically unassigned villagers that carry your stuff back and forth. And like I said, that cap fills up over time. So if you build a bunch of houses, the houses don't immediately populate. It takes time for the people to quote move in. Okay, boost. This is what I was talking about earlier with the berries. Certain buildings require resources to speed up production. So here we have in the original beta, food was used solely as a boost, but now it seems like there's a mix. Like certain buildings require food for their production, and other buildings require it for basically a fast forward feature, if you will. Falling berries. So here it shows like some of the things that takes berries. So we can get a forager's hut. Let's find a forager's hut. Here we go. And there's some berries located nearby. So we selected it, use berries to boost the tool maker. So here's the tool maker, and we can click F to start the boost. So as soon as they collect some, they will move that resource to here. And depending on where it is, I think they can actually carry it straight from there to here, unless it's in the warehouse. And it looks like we actually have some in the warehouse, so they will send it over from the warehouse. It looks like we're waiting on a little bit of wood and stone before production can start. As soon as those are delivered, they will start production on tools. Not every worker loves berries, some prefer meat, so the gold mine, the gem mine, the furnace, and the blacksmith require meat to boost production. So we need to find the ranch. We have meat selected. So here's the hunter's cabin. Select it, and then select the ranch. Seems like there's a small delay between clicking and the game recognizing that you've completed that action for the tutorial. Use meat to boost the furnace. We just click F. And this cycle will continue as long. It's kind of like an auto boost feature. So if I remember correctly, it will just stay on boost and they'll continue to pull meat to keep that boost active. We have a bunch of engineers lying around just for fun. Just in case the game asks us to do something else, we'll just do that. So as soon as they finish producing meat and they deliver it, so here they're making a delivery. There we go. Here we can see them taking the iron ingots out to the warehouse. It's kind of cool because it shows we don't have it yet because it hasn't been delivered yet. And fish. So we will select a fisherman's hut. I'm not sure if fish are limited resource or not. And let's see, boost the sawmill. There we go. So as soon as we have some fish, they'll deliver it. Looks like they're carrying it by hand. It's kind of cool if they have like a little cooking pot they deposit it into. It's another thing, like I've said many times, is I like the attention to detail in the game. And now we've completed the next section of the tutorial. And it kind of seems silly, like you don't have to boost your production, but it makes a huge difference later on in the game if you do not. Housing. Maybe there's one after this and then we're done. I like how I basically have already explained all these things and it's like, oh yeah, that thing I already explained. We're going to show it to you. So yeah, it's basically telling you about how population works. So residences don't populate immediately. They kind of fill in over time. There's actually a little cool thing where you can get bonuses via adjacency. Yep. Um, and it increases the capacity of that living space. And the buildings will actually physically join. And if you have like one over here that's adjacent, separated by a road, and it's facing the same direction, or not the same direction, but facing a certain direction, there will be a little archway that goes over it. It's pretty cool. And all of you, yeah, already set to auto build, so that's good. And we have the max number. Oh, thanks for subscribing. Appreciate it. I mean, it's just the tutorial, so I'm not gonna say too much about the tutorial. It's a tutorial. Some games try to make the tutorial like super interesting by adding a storyline. This game's more just like, hey, this is how you play it, which is fine. I really like this game, at least when I played in the beta, but I'm not gonna comment on my level of enjoyment for the tutorial. I think I'm just doing it more so everyone can see how the game works if they, want a frame of reference, they can watch this. Because later on we'll be doing like the skirmishes in the campaign, which will be a lot more interesting. So here, next supply chain, baking bread. It's nice that we don't have to build all these for the tutorial and they have already set up the supply chain for us. So we select the bakery. No, it's not the first time I played the game. I played the beta, but the beta is a little different. So boost the residents. So here's what I was kind of talking about the residents filling up. See, we can see the population cap right here and the current population. And so if we boost the residences, this will fill up faster. And there we go. Reach population. See, it's kind of fun that they disabled all the other things until that specific action is completed. They're just like, hey, look at this feature. There we go. And then I think there's maybe one more. And maybe it's on combat, and then that's the end of the tutorial. And there's like a little bit of kind of a lag between completing actions and then, the victory screen. I think they give you that time so you can read the text and soak up the information. It's funny that there's no rewards for the tutorial though, so it's fun to keep in mind. So if you're like a completionist and you're like, oh, I want to get that one thing, you don't have to do the tutorial, or at least that's what it seems like. Yeah, send me a message. I'll check it out. Even by just showing up on the channel here and commenting, you're helping me out. It's interesting, at least Twitch keeps track of like how many people are talking in your chat, how many visitors you have. So anytime anyone drops by and says something hi, or says something, not something hi, and says hi, it helps out the channel. So anything helps. Let's see. Okay, this is a little new. These towers before didn't require I don't think you could put units in them, so that's a new feature. Well, let's see. Maybe I misunderstood. Let's see what it's going to have us do. Okay, healing. Okay, so it's showing us the heal feature. So maybe they're going to send in a little attack. Yeah. Here's the enemy tower. And it's actually on autocast, so it should be. Here, let's take it off autocast. There we go. Decoy unit has special ability to attract enemy units. So this is basically showing us the decoy. Move units to the decoy. Okay, so we'll move them over here. And basically the decoy, it does exactly what it says. Units will come and attack that. Instead of your units. I think it's easier just to use the autocast, and there's a cooldown, and you can see the little timer on the cooldown. It's kind of cool. It shows your units healing. In the beta, the decoys had a ridiculous amount of health, so hopefully they changed that. Move military units to the tower. Which tower? Okay, they want us to move it to this one. And cool, so it shows that like a bastion heals, so it's a different type of tower. And then this one has a special attack. And if you want to go to the Discord is listed on the channel page, as well as the link in YouTube. And here it's like it looks like a cool little area of effect that affects anything within. So I want to say that's a new feature they've added. since the beta, because I don't remember that being in the beta at all. Okay, cool. And it looks like the next one's going to be on offense, and I think that should be the end of the tutorial. Okay, so here it shows how to recruit units and the different buildings and what they recruit. So some of the different factions have different specialists that and they do different things. So the arbalists have these cool little let's say crossbows. Vamaru have these javelin fighters, and they're not identical in terms of function. So these units have more range. These ones have quite a bit of damage. The berserkers, I don't remember. I think the name's explanatory, but I don't remember what their special deal is. And then here we see the other ones. And if you actually go into the menu, there's a section that actually tells you about each unit, and you can select it and read more on them and the different units that the factions offer. Okay, so we can select it to, let's see, wants us to recruit a warrior. So we should have the shield selected, I believe. And then one warrior. And then it's cool, someone will actually go over there to train, and you can watch them train. And weapons will be delivered there as well. So once the weapon's delivered, a villager will train at the same time. Might even be the same carrier, but the person who carries the weapon. So we'll find out. Yep. And once they finish their training, they turn into that unit. Yeah, sure. Thanks, man. And then we have the recruitment done. Combat, so we can select your soldiers on the map to attack, move, control, click. And cool, they actually gave us like a somewhat balanced starting force, which is nice. And here we can see there's 3 different unit types. So this guy, what is this guy? The ritualists, healing spells. Okay, so we got some reinforcements. And we can select. I like auto casting. I hate micro. So to me, being able to have them kind of automate certain things is something I really like. If you want to be a pro player, you don't have to do that, obviously, but for the rest of us. And maybe they'll show us alchemists or something like that next. There's a siege. There's a couple different siege units in the game. I want to say some are faction specific. So I'm just killing them so they don't kill all my units before I finish this. That's kind of cool. Wonder if this is like a neutral building then. Okay, so yeah, here's the part where they introduce siege units to us. And some of the factions, like I said, have specific units. The general type is all going to be the same, but there's a few differences. Okay. We'll kill the towers first. So we're going to boost their attack. It looks like that one is not an auto. That's actually a pretty big boost. Usually it takes a while for them to kill these things, but I think it's because we have some elementalists or alchemists with us right now. That's kind of cool. They shoot these little meteor things. That's a new feature. They didn't have that before. I mean, they had siege units, but they didn't do that cool little thing that they're doing right now. Yeah, thanks, man. Okay. Done. And I want to say that's the end of the tutorial. Let's find out. There we go. And you saw there's some resources left behind. What you can actually do is send your guys up to collect those resources. Interesting. So yeah, the tutorial is just if you want to become acquainted with the game. So, as I said before, there's no reward. It doesn't look like there's any reward for completing the tutorial. So it's just there for instruction. If you're a completionist, you don't need to do it at all. Anyway, that's the end of the tutorial. I'm going to end this video and start a new one, the campaign. I'll see you all in a few minutes. Hope you enjoy.